All right, everybody, Black is here. And I want to tell y'all a little story about how Marietta Volkswagen, I don't remember the name of it, but I think it's called Marietta Volkswagen, but it's the Volkswagen dealership across from Walmart near Dobbins Air Force Base. Or hell, they might change the name to Trump Air Force Base. Anywho, the car, I was teaching my niece how to drive. This is a 2004 Volkswagen Golf GLS. It's a 5-speed manual, 4-door. I'm teaching my niece how to drive one night, and the check engine light comes on. And she was complaining, said that the engine wouldn't rev past 3,100 RPM. So I tried to drive it, and it wouldn't go past 3,100 RPM. So I take her home, and I head home. When I get home, I hook my computer up to it, and I don't remember the codes. There was 5 codes. There was no codes before. Hell, the car just passed emission. Well, anyway, one of the codes was something about a camshaft sensor voltage high. I think it was that. And there was 4 coils, malfunction codes. That's what it, something about coil 1, cylinder 1 coil malfunction. And it was 2, 3, 4. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I took it to one shop, and the guy told me that he was busy and I had to come back a week later. I'm like, what? This was back during COVID, right? It was back during COVID. So anyway, I took it to the Volkswagen dealership, that Marietta Volkswagen, and they called me back and said it was going to be $2,048 to fix my problem. They said it needed a timing belt. And I'm like, it can't need a timing belt because I had just had a used engine put in that car, and they were supposed to have changed the timing belt, water pump, belt tension. So he tells me that's what's wrong with the car. And if I don't want them to fix it, I should take it back to that shop and have them to look at it. So I come pick the car up and I take the car home, and I'm thinking like this. Now, I've had a 4-cylinder car before where the timing belt jumped time. I had a 89 Ford Mustang. Now, you might say there's 2 different engines, but they're quite related. The Volkswagen is a 2.0 single overhead cam, fuel injected. The Mustang 2.3 is 4-cylinder, single overhead cam, fuel injected. Both have timing belts. The the Mustang, when it jumped timing, it lost power. It would run, but it had no power. This Golf runs perfect until you get to 3,100 RPM, and then it's like a limiter comes on. So I don't know nothing else to do. And even though I know this is the wrong thing to do, I ordered a camshaft sensor offline. I think it was like $16 or $18. And I installed it. The car run the exact same. I go to pull apart and buy a used coil off of Volkswagen, put it on, the car run the exact same. So I'm like, man, I don't know what else to do. So then I started to think, like, what would a YouTube mechanic do in a situation like this? So I thought about it, a camshaft sensor and a coil pack, because the coil pack is, all 4 coils are made together. They're not separate. So I'm like, how would these 2 parts be related? So I remember, well, a lot of YouTube mechanics, they will, whenever they have an electrical problem, they get a wiring diagram to see how the parts are related. So I went on Mitchell wiring diagram and bought a diagram for this Golf, like $20, something like that. Anywho, I looked at the wiring diagram. I followed the camshaft sensor to the computer. But before it went to the computer, there was a wire that went off and went to the temperature sensor. All right. Then I followed the temperature sensor away from it, and it went to the coil pack. And then I think it went to the computer also, I think. But anyway, that's how those 2 parts were related. The temperature sensor was the medium. And I'm like, Don't tell me this thing need a temperature sensor. I'm like, how the hell a temperature sensor? But remember, they both ran together. They were related. So I watched a YouTube video on Volkswagen temp sensor on the Golf, and no one had the same problem, but everybody, well, not everybody, but the guy said that this temperature sensor is easy to replace. It's $17. And when they go bad, your engine will run crazy. And I'm thinking, well, my engine is running crazy. So I think I went to AutoZone, bought a new temperature sensor, and it was like $17, right? And the sensor, you don't even need tools to replace it. Well, I had to use pliers because it used a little horseshoe thing. You pull the horseshoe out, you pull the sensor out, you lose a little water, you put the new sensor in, and you put the horseshoe thing back in. You're done. But like I said, I had to use pliers because it was kind of hard to pull it out. I cranked the car up, and the engine still would not go past 3,100 RPM. And I'm like, man, what the hell? But when I checked the computer, the coils, all 4 coils malfunction were gone. The only problem I had was the camshaft sensor. And I'm thinking, damn, I shouldn't have bought that camshaft sensor off eBay, right? So I go to AutoZone and buy a camshaft sensor. It was like $60, I think. And I went to put it on, and turns out what happened was I installed the camshaft sensor wrong. It damaged the camshaft sensor, and it bent my little reluctor wheels on the camshaft wheel, or whatever you call it, camshaft pulley, or the cam pulley or whatever. So I had to bend the little reluctor wheel back in place, and I replaced the sensor with the AutoZone sensor. Crank the car up, the engine goes past 3,100 RPM, no more codes. So if I had just changed the temperature sensor from the get-go, I wouldn't have messed up the camshaft sensor. But you live and you learn. I'm not an expert mechanic. I'm a dumbass truck driver. But the thing is, Volkswagen tried to charge me $2,048 to fix a $17 problem. But I was able to figure it out by using Mitchell wiring diagrams. This is why I love watching YouTube videos, the mechanics, like South Main Auto. The car wizard, he don't really do nothing. He just talks about buying Identifix, and he brags about he's so bright, but then at the same time he always pushes that damn Identifix, where it's some little thing where you put the car in and they tell you what all the other mechanics replaced. Whatever. But anyway, I'm just glad I fixed the problem. Again, a $2,000 problem fixed with $17. Dre, y'all have a good day.